let's step away from the playoff coverage for a moment and talk about something that has major implications for the Lakers heading into this offseason. Because the Milwaukee Bucks just dropped a significant update on Giannis Antetokounmpo's future, and it directly impacts Los Angeles. The Lakers are widely expected to pursue Giannis this offseason, and my biggest concern with that is simple: I don't want to see a repeat of the Kawhi Leonard situation. Remember that. The Lakers spent an entire offseason convinced they had a real shot, held back on other moves, missed out on available free agents, and then ended up with nothing. I do not want to see that happen again. I don't want the Lakers to spend months waiting around for Giannis, passing on guys like Payton Watson, Tari Eason, Quinton Grimes, and others who could genuinely help this team, only to find out at the end of it all that Giannis isn't coming. That would be a disaster. But here's the good news. Bucks co-owner Jimmy Haslam has stated publicly that they plan to have Giannis' situation resolved before the NBA draft on June 23rd. He's targeting the next 6 to 7 weeks to get clarity on whether Giannis stays or goes. And that actually changes everything from a Lakers perspective, because it means this doesn't have to drag out all summer. If a trade is going to happen, draft night is the most logical time to execute it. Milwaukee gets to target young players from this year's class as part of the return package, and the Lakers happen to have 3 first-round picks available to trade on draft night specifically, thanks to how the CBA rules work around the Stepien rule once the league year turns over. Now, tinfoil hat on for just a second. Isn't it at least a little interesting that the Bucks are saying the decision will come on draft night, which happens to be the exact moment the Lakers can trade all 3 of their firsts? Just saying, tinfoil hat back off. Moving on. Here's the reality: if Giannis is available and he wants to be a Laker, you do the deal. No hesitation, no second guessing. I don't care if it ends up being the worst trade in Lakers history. I don't care if Giannis and Luka don't gel, don't fit, and the whole thing falls apart. If you have the opportunity to put 2 top 3 to top 5 players in the entire sport on the same team, you do it. That's not a complicated decision. That's just how championship windows get built. But, and this is where I'll get a little personal with my opinion, I actually think there's an equally compelling, maybe even stronger argument for going a different direction entirely. Instead of trading all 3 firsts for Giannis, what if the Lakers use one of those picks to facilitate a salary dump, clear another $20 million off the books, and then take that cap space to build real depth around Luka, sign Payton Watson, add Tari Eason, bring in Mitchell Robinson and Robert Williams the Hurry, go trade for Herb Jones. That roster, built around Luka with multiple quality wings, a real center, and shooting throughout the lineup, is probably a better basketball team than Giannis and Luka with a thin roster around them. Depth wins in the playoffs. We've seen that over and over again. Now, the Austin Reeves factor also plays into this. If the Lakers go all in on Giannis, they're likely going to have to move Reeves to generate the assets needed to round out the supporting cast. If you're pairing Luka with Giannis, you need to be able to build around them, and that probably means turning Austin into the pieces that make that work. I don't think you keep Austin just to have him alongside Luka and Giannis. At that point, you convert him into exactly what that version of the roster needs. What I actually want to see, though, and this is what I find most interesting, is the Lakers getting involved in the Giannis trade without being the team that lands Giannis. Because when a trade of this magnitude goes down, players move in all directions. The Knicks are almost certainly going to have to give up something significant. What if OG Anunoby ends up being part of that equation? You would never in a million years be able to pry OG away from New York under normal circumstances. But if he ends up as a piece being moved to Milwaukee in a multi-team deal, suddenly the Lakers can step in and offer to take him. You absorb his contract, you give up picks that are far less painful than a full Giannis package, and you walk away with one of the best 2-way wings in the entire league. That's a massive win without the massive risk. The reason so many people believe the Lakers are genuinely in the running for Giannis, despite only having 3 firsts, is because the Lakers can offer the Bucks something no other realistic destination can match. Most competing teams would have to include bad contracts and unwanted roster pieces to make the salary work. The Lakers can simply absorb Giannis' entire contract. That's over $40 million per year that Milwaukee doesn't have to take back in junk. In exchange, the Bucks could receive the Lakers' 3 firsts, absorb something light like Jared Vanderbilt and Dalton Knecht, and still walk away with a massive trade exception, potentially $40 million, that they can then use to go acquire multiple players as they rebuild. That's an extraordinary return that very few teams in the league can replicate. So the Lakers' pitch to Milwaukee is uniquely powerful. 3 first-round picks plus full salary absorption plus a massive trade exception created in the process. That could unlock 4, 5, or even 6 first-round picks for the Bucks when all is said and done. More than virtually any other team in the league could offer outside of Oklahoma City or San Antonio. But again, my preferred scenario is this. The Lakers get into the middle of this deal, use the chaos and the movement of pieces to land a player they otherwise could never acquire, someone like OG Anunoby, and come out of it with a better roster without having to bet the entire franchise on whether Giannis and Luka can coexist. That's the move I want to see. Get creative. Use the Giannis situation to your advantage without necessarily being the team that pulls the trigger on him. Either way, this is one of the most important off-seasons in Lakers history. The decision on Giannis is coming before the draft. The Lakers will be in the conversation, and how they navigate the next 6 to 7 weeks is going to define this franchise for years to come.